You know? Don't just stand at the fridge and just waste time. Anyway, that's a little something I wrote down. I don't know what it was, but what started that whole rant about the fridge and the cars and the movies and the hunting and the grocery stores. It was like, it should be illegal to buy too much food. Like, if you can't even fit it in your car, what the fuck are you doing? You can't even fit it in your house. You got a fucking problem. You know what I mean? I know people who buy bags and bags of fucking chips or fruit, and so much of it goes bad. I don't think America fucking realizes how much food we waste. And then there are other people who feel guilty by that and don't want to waste the food, so they eat and then they start getting fat from it. And it's like, it doesn't matter. One person isn't going to fucking save a planet or a country of 100 million or more people wasting food all the time. Think about the parties that are thrown, or people egging people's houses, the amount of food that goes bad because you go on vacation and the fridge wasn't closed all the way, or you left dog food out and all the food goes stale. We waste a lot of food, so it should be illegal to have too much food. You shouldn't be able to just go to Costco and just buy grocery carts and grocery carts of food. It's fucking insane how much food people buy and waste. You know? It's crazy. It's fucking ubats. Hold on a sec. I have it written down on my phone here. I wrote it in my notes. What was it? Yeah, pretty much that. But yeah, there should be restrictions. If there's restrictions on guns and drugs, probably not pot, for probably people that have tons and tons of marijuana in their house. Of course, like traveling, there's restrictions, but there should be restrictions, not like no restrictions. I mean, that's fucking insane, you know? There needs to be some sort of restriction on food, or even like masturbation. Like the amount of porn that exists is fucking. If there is any addiction that is bad, I'd have to say it's food and masturbating, because these are not things you can distance yourself from. Because booze and drugs, just don't buy it. Sex, just, if you have a sex addiction, just don't date or try, because sometimes you talk to people and then it leads to other things. But with when it's either an external or / internal organ that's literally attached to you and you can't get rid of it, and it doesn't matter what you do, you will always have genitals. So don't think, I'll just get the bush cutters and get rid of it. My doctor says I should. That doesn't matter. If you have a penis or a vagina, you're still gonna masturbate. Fangula. Fagella gamre. But food too. You kind of need food to live. But there should be restriction on food and the amount of just bad porn that exists, or video content that is just bad and just fucking garbage. People just buying all this just useless food, buying it for whatever, really. And you gotta empty the fridge because food went bad, or you can't put food in the fridge, and you give it to the raccoons or the birds. Like, we waste a lot of food. But I don't know when it was, but it had to have been between 1990 and 2015 or so, where opinions became an issue. Maybe it was the 80s. Opinions became an issue. Whenever the world became sort of modern, exercise, that sort of arose around the 70s with like jogging. Because before the 70s, people didn't really exercise. Not really. You had bodybuilders and shit, but nobody really, as an activity or a hobby, just exercised. It didn't really exist. Because you had all the exercise videos. That was 80s or so. Because before that, exercise wasn't this like sexual advertisement. Because sex sells. You ever watch Bill Hicks? You know how he feels about that, how funny he makes it. But yeah, something with opinions. Around when feminism came out in the 80s, because that's when it really started. And with all the gay stuff in the 80s. And I don't know what happened. Around with like Andrew Dice Clay and Marriage with Children, politically incorrect stuff. But somewhere along the line, opinions became an issue, right? You gotta admit that. Opinions are in it. You can't have an opinion anymore. People are like robots. They like people who aren't so opinionated, which is, when you think about it, kind of boring, Very predictable, very, boiled down, like a good shape, like a block with like 6 sides. Or a cube, I mean. Right? Because when you think about it, all opinions are negative. All of them. Every single one. There's no such thing as a positive opinion. Because that's not an opinion. That's a compliment. That's just being nice. Like, oh, I think you have a beautiful car. Is that an opinion? Is that what you think? It's crazy when you really think about it. And I think men had a lot to do with the invention of opinions because they're more negative than women are. Because women are like negative on the inside, but positive on the outside. And men are the opposite. Positive on the outside, or negative on the outside and positive on the inside. Sort of like women are more West Coast and guys are more East Coast, I guess. But you just think about opinions. Opinions. It's what you think, and there's why you think it. Like, opinion could be how to improve something or what the problem is and how to solve it. Like, I think your car needs an upgrade. That could be an opinion. It's like, I think your car doesn't need an upgrade. Sort of an opinion, right? But if you say, no, I think your car is perfect. Not an opinion. Just not an opinion. Which leads me to think that if women become detectives, it will never work. At least on television. There's never been a female detective, and I don't think there ever will be. You'd have to be some sort of New Yorker / butch lesbian. You can't be this nice California girl, blonde, does yoga and wears a sports bra and yoga pants. It reminds me of Daisy Keech. Just a cute little ass. But when you think about detectives, I had to get off track. You got Mannix, Columbo, the guy from The Odd Couple. Forget his name. He was like a doctor, detective. You got House. You got Monk. You got Kojak. You got Sherlock Holmes, obviously. Like a lot of male detectives. Not a lot of female. And I think there's a reason for that, because when you have an opinion and you don't want to give up and you're stubborn, that's a very like childish sort of mentality, a childish attitude and way of thinking. And women, they don't like that. They like being serious. They don't like being childish, Even though they are. Women are so childish. It's insane. Which is why they love sex and getting drunk and chocolate and wine and ice cream when they're, depressed watching a rom-com with the tissue box. They use the tissue box because they cry, and we use the tissue box because we also cry. Just out of a different hole. But it's fucking crazy how all opinions are negative. I recorded this on like a voice memo because I don't remember the whole thing. But that was the gist of it. Where it's like, If you're a woman, how can you have an opinion? Women have no opinions. They literally don't. Literally. Opinions are negative. You're trying to tear something down. This is why women don't like comedy. And this is not being mean. This is purely objective. Which is why you can't objectify women. Or I guess you can, because they're... Men objectify. They like machines and cars. They objectify things, right? Objectify, a structure, molecules, atoms, particles. That's objectifying. Women subjectify, which is an opinion. And most of them are negative. Which is why when you attack somebody and they get like offended or pissed off, they say, well, that's your opinion. Because it wasn't like, hey, bud, I think you're doing a great job. Sarcastic, so it's an opinion. But if it's purely positive, it is not an opinion. It just isn't. I don't know how it could be. Like, really? How could you have an opinion if it's only going to be positive like 98 or 99% of the time? That just can't be. That just can't be. That's fucking crazy. Women have no opinions. That's not a very popular opinion, but it's an opinion. And I'm telling you, all opinions are negative. I don't know how a woman could be a detective, because if they were face to face with a serial killer and they didn't come off as threatening or angry or scary, is that pedophile, that pervert, that sociopath really going to stop? No, because he doesn't think he's going to get caught. If you're not asking questions, and asking questions can be perceived as being rude, like, hey, what's your name? Hey, what are you doing? Like, it's kind of stubborn. It's kind of annoying. It's rude. Like, you keep poking the bear until the bear or the balloon pops or the bear freaks out, right? But if a woman was on a murder case, she would actually be hurting the case, not helping it. Hurting it. By not having opinions or being negative or being angry or being mean. I think detectives should be men. They are the best profile, the best suited for the job. Women can't be detectives. They just can't. Impossible. I don't see it happening. I don't see it working out. Like, if they don't ask questions and they write him off, oh, he seemed like a nice guy, Oh, he's just having a bit of a rough patch. You'll come around eventually. I know he will. He's working as an ice cream boy, driving around that truck. What a nice guy. If you don't get suspicious or negative, that guy's just gonna go around either fucking kids or stabbing adults. Or maybe both. Fucking adults and then stabbing kids. I don't know. But if you're a woman and you can't be mean or negative or suspicious, that guy, that bad guy or bad woman is going to hurt people because you were a nice guy, quote unquote. You weren't mean. You didn't ask the right questions. You weren't threatening. You weren't scary. You didn't have any opinions. You weren't negative. And opinions are everything. Everything. Like whenever you're in a court of law and there's a female judge, not to judge, no pun intended. The judge isn't positive or happy. The judge comes off as depressed and mean. If it's Judge Judy on the TV or in a movie, they're not like, hey, you're going to prison forever. You're going to enjoy it. You seem like a fag. No, it's more like, you ignored the evidence. You stole the ice cream. Then you robbed the bank and you zipped down the highway in a Bronco. What did you think was going to happen? I see this guy 60 to 100 hours in community service. Court adjourned. Bang, bang. She's never like, yay, you're going to community service. It's going to be fun. Yeah. No, that just doesn't ever happen. If you're a female judge, you're going to be mean or depressed or negative. You're not going to be positive like a California girl. It just won't happen. Niceness isn't all that great. People make it seem to be like it's this amazing, oh, be nice, be positive. It's actually bad. It's not good, especially in sports commentary. When you gotta be angry, you gotta yell, or you're a detective. You know, this is just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I'm gonna listen back to my recording to make sure I didn't miss any points. But be right back. I checked and I found nothing.